Okay, let's go ahead and take a look inside this Fluval 406. I have not cleaned this filter in probably, it's a long time, so I don't want to tell you how long. So today's the day. So these clamps open on the side, right? So you just pull them out, and then what you do is you push down on them, and it lifts the power head up, like so, and that pops right off. And then carefully just kind of pull this off, unhook it, now you can lift. Unhook, now you can lift. Straight up. Oh yeah, she dirty. Look at that. Working like a champ. Put that there, we'll come back to that. I'm gonna go over and empty all this out right now in the utility sink. I'll be back. Okay, let's bring this in here. I am in the middle of water changes on my aquariums and my other ones, but let's show you this. Pretty yucky dirty. Let's drain it. I'm going to start with pulling the sponges out. Those will need to be rinsed off pretty good. And then we have our top canister. This is the problem when you use a sand substrate. The sand gets sucked up into the filter, and you can see all of the sand right on top of this. So I imagine that's going to be all through the filter. Full of sand. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna rinse them out. Look at that. Don't misplace this. Here's what the inside of this 406 looks like. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4 trays. You've got your power head, you've got your impeller cover, the spindle, and this is a holder for your sponges that go over there. So that's how simple these, and of course you have your canister that this all sits into, right? So this is how simple this filter is. I love it. They've always had good power. They're fairly expensive, the Fluval brand is. I do use a cheaper brand that yeah, I feel pretty strongly about as well. But these guys right here, a little expensive, but they do what they say they're going to do. So, and I've never had a problem with them. Okay, so the first thing I like to do after I've cleaned this up is we're going to put the impeller back in. The impeller goes just like this. It goes on this spindle. There's another name for it, I'm sure. And then it basically, actually you can put this in. There's a little hole in there. You just shove that in. There's a little hole in the bottom of this, and it just slides through. And then that goes in there. It's magnetized, so it zips right in. This, just make sure there's nothing on it that is free of any type of debris. It is. And then this just snaps right into place like so. So you put this in here. You want to make sure that your shaft, your spindle, your shaft, is right in the center of this. There's a spot for it right there. Push that down. It's in. So you're in good shape here. Set this off to the side. How you do your canisters is completely up to you. It really is user specific. But here's how I like to do it. On the bottom tray, I like to have my sponge filters, okay? That'll be on the bottom. Matter of fact, I'll just put it in now. And And then in the second to the bottom tray, I'm going to put some filter media in there. I wish I had that polyfill, but I don't have any. So I'm going to use something different for this. I'm just going to put some, well, I'll show you. Well, as it turns out, I actually have these water polishing pads right here. So I'm going to use these. Forgot I had these. So I've got 2 more in there, so I'll have to order some more maybe. So here's my polishing pads, but I think what I want to do is these go in just like this, and they go in just like that. All right, perfect. But I think I'm going to save that for the next tray. And I think on this tray, I want to use my charcoal. I think I'm going to do charcoal here. There. And here's another bag of charcoal right here. Shove it in there. That's that. So that's going to be number 2. And then what I have here is going to be my polishing. This is going to be my top. So I'm going to leave that for my polishing pads to go right there. That's just what I want. But I have this. I need to use for my mechanical filtration or my biological filtration. Will be in this tray. I bought these bulk, so I just load this tray up. These are just ceramic bio rings. I bought them bulk off of Amazon. I can't remember how much I paid for them, but they are handy to have. Some people are fans. Some people are not of these ceramic bio rings. They work for me. I use them. I don't really seem to have any issues. I mean, I've even used lava rock in here because that's what I've had at times. So, but yeah, I'll just throw this in here. I'm not going to load it too much up. Maybe just a little better than halfway. Dun, da, da, da. Alrighty, that's in there. Looks pretty good. We'll put just a smidge more in. What's Emerald say? Bam, bam. That's good enough. And then we'll set this off to the side. So this will be my next tray. And then my last tray is the polishing pads. So if ever I want to get in here and just change these pads out, I don't have to dig the whole thing out. I can just take the top one off and then put new pads in there. You know, I would like to try that other polyfill that you see other hobbyists use. Maybe I'll try that one day when I get some. Let's see if I can find some on Amazon or see where I can pick some up. So that's that. And this top goes on there like so. And it drops down on that like that, and you're good to go. And then these sponges, which are dirty because I've had them a long time and I've used the crap out of this. So, but they're still in pretty good physical shape, so we're good there. You just tuck them in here like this. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Flip it over. Put your next one in like so. Like so. And that's good to go. And then this just slides down in here. Ta-da! So the water comes in, gets shoved down through here, goes through the sponge, and then it comes up through your sponges, and then it comes up through your charcoal, and then it comes up through your bio rings, and then it ultimately comes up through your polishing pads. Perfect. Now let's get the top on this thing. Now on the Fluval, you can see it says 406 right here, and then it's embossed here. So line those up. Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you. There is a. Make sure that you just kind of inspect this gasket that's right here. Matter of fact, I should take this. Let me take this gasket off and show you. So here's the gasket, and I feel that it's got some sand on it. So I'm going to go rinse this off real quick. I'll be right back. When these gaskets come to you new, they actually have a little bit of lubricant on them. I don't have anything to use to put on here. I'm not using Vaseline. I don't have any anyway, but some people say they use Vaseline. I'm not doing that. If I have any problems with it leaking, then, you know, I'll look something up and I'll order the stuff to lubricate it. But other than that, I'm just going to wipe this off real quick, like so. Take this gasket, O-ring, and I'm just going to put it right back on. The reason I took it off is because, like I said, I felt the sand that was on it, and I do want it to have a good seal. So, okay, there we go. Flip it over, line it up, give her a little smush, and then here, and then here. So you're going to hook these on the side like this, right? Give it a little hook, give it a little hook, and then you push it together, and when you do, it pulls this down nice and snug. And by the way, all of these parts are replaceable through Fluval. You can buy a new primer, you can buy a new impeller, you can buy the gaskets. Everything is replaceable if you're willing to buy it. When you come down to put your filter back on, remember this. Do not plug this in. Do not plug it in. It might be easier to reach and plug it in. Don't do it until this is completely primed. If you plug this in before this is completely primed and connected and water running through it, or when it's filled with water, here's what you're going to run into. That impeller, those blades on the impeller, they're going to break. How do I know? Because I've done it. I had to replace the impeller. So learn from my mistakes. Never plug these in until they're ready to go. All right. This is a controller, and you can see that it's got a valve here, or a hook that locks it into place, and this is your control valve right here. This is your valve that will allow the water to flow into the canister. So it's very simple. You just put them in here, and by the way, these have some little O-rings on them as well. So if you're ever leaking, you can replace those. Watch this. When you put this thing in, and you push it down, don't force this down. Don't force it. It will break. I'm telling you, because I've done it. I've broken it. Matter of fact, I got one in the garage. I'm waiting on a replacement for the other Fluval that I have because I pressed too hard on it. And I know better. I've had these things for years. So when you look at this, push it in here, give her a little shove down, and then by doing so, you see that? When you come up here and you push this controller, push it down, that'll do that. Now you can open it up, the valve, and you can hear the water rushing into it right now. Now, I should see some bubbles coming out on the top. Well, you can't see it because they're pointed this way, but once I start priming this, so this one does need a new primer. It's not coming out. Well, don't worry. If I had another primer in the closet, I'd put a new one in here. But this filter is fairly aged. I've had it a long time. So I had to jinx myself and say that I've never had a problem with one of these except for the ones that I bought that are used and I've had to replace some parts in. So this one I bought brand new. I've had it for several years, and now the primer doesn't work in it. And this is the part where I go and I buy the $12 or $13 primer and put a new one in. I don't have one. I got to order it. So I got to figure out a way to prime this canister and get this thing to work, because, you know, I can't not have it for the couple, 2 or 3 days it's going to take for me, even with Amazon Prime, to get a new primer. So let's figure it out. It doesn't jump out. You can't see it from back there, but I'm going to pop off this intake and I'm going to blow some water up through it to see if it gets the cycle going. So, Mr. Arowana thinks it's time to eat, so he's coming over. Alright, so what I'm looking for is air to come out. There we go. We got the air coming out over there by the Arowana. So that means the water is being pushed down into here. And I'll know that it's completely primed when the air stops coming out of that return over there by where the Arowana is. So this is kind of a rigged up way to do it, but it's working. And I'm just using a power head that I have with a makeshift attachment that I got on the end of it. But I can hear that. I can hear that pump. arowana will bite my hands, just so you know. But I can hear that pump filled up. I can see that it's stopped over there. You can see the junk coming out of the tubing. So I'm going to stop priming right now. That's like that. Put it over here on our trusty dusty towel. Okay. Wipe this off. Now that it's primed, I can pick it up. It's going to be heavy. Shove it back here like so. Now I can plug it in. It's going to be a bit noisy for a minute until the rest of the air comes out of it. There we go. And there it is, all back in place. I don't like the wires that are down there, but it's kind of a necessary evil of the hobby. In case I ever got to get the arowana out, I've got this nice big size net right here. We like to keep it handy. If I can keep it out of my kids' hands and them out in the ponds, whoop, whoop, they're always scooping stuff up. So I keep this handy. We'll keep it over here. Now all we have to do is clean up. Oh, I forgot to tell you. So anytime I do a filter change or a significant water change, I like to go back in and add some beneficial bacteria. I don't care what brand it is. I get whatever's the best value at the time, but basically it's the nitrifying bacteria. This one happens to be by whatever, it was on sale, so I got it. It was buy one get one half off. So, but basically it's the nitrifying bacteria. Shake it up, pour it in for the directions. This happens to be a 150-gallon tank, so it takes quite a bit, but I like to always have it on stock. Okay, let's recap this really quick. So, first of all, I know what some of you guys are thinking out there that are watching this video about this filter. He's not supposed to do it that way. You're not supposed to rinse all that stuff off in the sink and clean it all up the way you did and used a brush and all that. I get it. But here's what I want you to know. That on that 150-gallon aquarium, with that arowana and with those geophaguses, I have another large canister filter that's running that has plenty of beneficial bacteria in it. So I never change the two at the same time. So if I was going to change this Fluval 406, I wouldn't change the other filter. Or if I was changing the other filter, I wouldn't change the 406. So, and I space them literally months apart from changing. Just wanted to point that out. That's why I was comfortable doing how I did it. Plus now it's pretty much basically a brand new filter, and it will recolonize with beneficial bacteria, I promise. Plus I throw a little bit of bacteria starter in there that just makes me feel a little bit better about doing that as well. So I get it. It's our hobby. We all do things a little bit differently, and that's okay. Comment down below what you liked or didn't like about the filter change, or what you would have done differently, because you know, this is a hobby and we all learn from each other all the time. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I certainly appreciate you, and we will see you next time on Jibo's Garage Channel. Oh! Something's on me! What do you call those things? Buckets? Canisters? What are they called? Before I found the 406, I've got the 306, another 206 over there. There's another name for it, I'm sure. So don't make the mistake I made.